Black people are now coming out to say that Trump is the best option. They are coming out to say that this man is actually the best thing that has actually happened to them in their life, in their season. And I'm not seeing anything wrong with that, right? Everybody have the right to think whatsoever he or she needs to think. I'll go ahead and roll out the clips for you guys so that you guys can actually hear from their own point of view. And let me know in the comment section if you think that he is actually the best option for them as their so-called claim in this particular video. Anyways, let me not say anything. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, do subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode, and this is just for educational purposes. I stand the chance to be corrected. Who am I to say he is not the best option where the almighty people are saying he is the best option? But let's get right into it and see why they decided to say that he is actually the best option for American, and if they are given another chance, they are still going to elect him over and over again. Let's get right into it, guys.
Trump was the better option. Now, before you think you have found yourself in the wrong side of TikTok, this isn't about politics, but this is about consciousness. I was actually having a conversation with my 15-year-old daughter who told me about her classmate. He said that Trump was the better person. So at first, my daughter, being the humanitarian that she is, was like, how could anyone think like that? And from her point of view, all she saw was really the surface. This kid just doesn't want a woman to be president. And that is what he picked up from his parents. And so that's all she could actually see. But when she said that out loud, Trump was the better option. When she said that one line, it made me pause. Because from a spiritual perspective, I actually agree. Now hear me out. Not because Trump is better, but because humanity needed a wake-up call. If Kamala had won, most people would have kept sleeping, still trusting politics, still trusting the government, still blind to how corrupt the system really is. Trump brought chaos, and that chaos is shaking people awake, making us look deeper. And so the mirror was that Kamala was selling people on humanity, and Trump was selling people on survival and money. And that's actually the reflection of our collective consciousness and where it's still at. We're stuck in survival mode, greediness, and separation. So the truth will set us free. The mirror is showing us exactly where we are now as a collective. We needed to see the darkest part of our consciousness so that the next time we can consciously choose the light. Because sometimes the better option is the one that actually forces us to wake up. So yes, Trump was the better option, not because of who he is, but because his chaos is forcing humanity to wake the fuck up so we can finally shift into unity, into truth, and to start building a new earth.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about all the populations that have really benefited from the Trump administration. So let's go through some of them, okay? Okay, the first one is farmers. Okay, not farmers. I think we've pretty much established that farmers are going bankrupt. 400,000 of them, no, probably 1 million of them voted for Trump. I don't think they're getting what they wanted. Then we have government workers. Oh, now, having been in the military myself for 34 years and working up at Pentagon, a lot of those colonels and lieutenant colonels and master sergeants and sergeant majors, they all jumped from the military to go work as military contractors or get Department of the Army, Department of the Navy jobs, and now they've all been laid off. And let me tell you, the vast majority of those people, massive Trumpers. So they haven't benefited. Hi, how about Latinos? Hey, ¿qué pasa? ¿Qué pasó? How are you doing? Have Latinos who voted in droves for Trump benefited? Hell, I gotta tell you, if I see a Latino out on the street, I'm like, what the hell are you doing here? Shit, you're brave for working. I don't care if you're documented. We all look at you like you crazy. And it all goes through our mind, are you documented? It's a shame, really. You voted for Trump in droves, and this is what you got. How about manufacturers? Manufacturers all over the country are being made to bring back factories to the United States at a huge cost. Have they benefited? No. How about those tariffs? Yeah, importers, man, you suck right now. You're probably going out of business, but you voted in droves for Trump. And then how about car makers, especially electric car makers? Man, I tell you, you suck right now. You totally suck. And you know what? It's a shame that you had such high hopes for Trump and his business plan. Well, right now, you're not benefiting worth a shit. Women, did you get what you wanted? Oh my God. Women, did you get what you wanted? I'll just leave it right there. And then, of course, anyone needing FEMA. Oh, there's a lot of southern states that voted for Trump. They loved him. And then he cuts FEMA. And then we have floods and hurricanes and earthquakes and fires. Did you get what you wanted? And then let's go back to Latino. Let's go back to Latinos. Not Latinos, but let's go back to people of color. African Americans, blacks. Did you get what you wanted? I mean, come on, let's be honest. Whenever I see a black guy who says he's Republican and he voted for Trump, I'm like, did you vote for the erasing of blacks in the military? Did you vote for all of our great commanders who happen to be African American to get fired? Is that what you voted for? I don't know. I don't know what you voted for. So I'll tell you, you know what? You know who? Oh, here is who has benefited. You know who's benefited? People like me. Old white men who are in the top 1 to 20%. Yeah, that's who's benefited. And they continue to benefit. Because you know why? We're seeing the greatest transfer of wealth from the poor and the middle class to the wealthy in the history of this country. And you know what? I don't like it. This is not the America that I knew. The America that I knew are people like myself who started out with very, very little and built themselves up and helped people along the way. So I tell you what, MAGA, do you like apples? Well, how about them apples?
To my blue girlies, do you guys realize that you are the minority right now? The majority of America has voted red. And I feel like no one has taken a second to ask themselves why so many people have voted for Trump. I was not going to make this video. I did not want to. I'm nervous right now making it because unfortunately for me, I am somebody who wants my videos and wants my page to do well. I want to be liked by everybody. I want to be friends with everybody. I do not like conflict. I don't like confrontation. So this is a hard video for me to make, but the more that I'm seeing the way Republicans are getting treated on Book Talk is really disgusting, and it's making it harder for me to stay quiet, and it's harder for me to justify staying quiet. So I'm sure I've already lost a bunch of followers and viewers, and that's okay. But if any of you have stuck around, these are the reasons why I voted for Trump. One of my biggest concerns, if not the biggest, is border control. We cannot have millions of undocumented illegal immigrants coming over the border, not to mention the children and young women that they are trafficking, or the drugs that they are bringing into this country. The fact that DNA testing is not happening at the border right now is so insane to me. Second, I voted for a leader who I think can bring peace. While Trump was president in his first term, there were no new wars. And already, before he's even inaugurated, world leaders are calling for peace. I truly could not picture Kamala negotiating with other countries or bringing the amount of peace and national security that Donald Trump can. And third, I did vote for a stronger financial economy. I know everybody's going on about gas prices, and yes, that is part of it, but it goes beyond that. Again, before he's even sworn in, we're seeing the stock market rise. Fourth, I voted for freedom of speech. Right now, it feels like only the left has that. If anybody on the right expresses their opinion, they're getting canceled. They're getting fined, especially people in a more public career. I'm talking about Osa, I forget his first name, but who had a MAGA hat. He's getting fined. Off topic.
As much as I think your vote should be private, I do enjoy seeing how many Republicans are finally speaking up about these issues and their beliefs, because we are the majority and it seems like maybe the left was kind of taken by surprise by all of this. So I'm glad that we're finally getting our voices out there. Even though the left may not want to hear it, I am happy to see that Republicans are finally taking it back. Fifth, I am voting against gender affirming care for minors. That is the key word that so many people are leaving out, for minors. And this goes with the book ban too, for minors in schools. I am voting against that. These are children. Kamala was supporting gender affirming care for minors without parental consent. And if that's not insane to you, we have gone so far beyond left and right. And sixth, I voted to keep men out of women's sports and locker rooms. And last, I voted not only for Donald Trump, but for his team, J.D. Vance, RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, just to name a few. I find them all to be so poised and eloquent, and they always have a response and an answer to everything, whereas Kamala and her team were avoiding questions, hardly doing any interviews and stuff like that. And I've just been really impressed with Trump and his team, and especially now after the vote, seeing that he's appointed the first woman chief of staff and the border controls czar. I love his team, and I think they're going to do great things for this country. Just to kind of finish up, I don't mind having a civil conversation about this at all. If you're on the left, if you're a liberal, I don't care. If you voted for Kamala, fine. If you want to have a civil discussion, I'm all for it. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your opinions. But if you come in the comments and you're argumentative and you're mean and you're rude, I'm not going to respond to any of that. You can comment whatever you like, but I'm not going to be responding to any of that. So comment, unfollow, block, whatever you want to do. It's fine. No hard feelings. I'd still like this page to be a safe place for everybody. We do not have to agree on everything. That is never, ever, ever going to happen. Not everyone is going to agree with everybody all the time. And I think it's really closed-minded and ignorant and just really extreme to shut people off who have different opinions than you. I absolutely hate the division in this country right now. I hate the division on Book Talk. I think it's so sad, and I think it puts America in a really dangerous situation. And I would like to believe that we could all at least be united in the fact that we're all human beings with thoughts and feelings, and we're all entitled to a little bit of human decency. But it doesn't seem like that is the case. So I don't want to be a part of the disunity or the division, especially on Book Talk, because I love Book Talk. It's been a happy place and a safe place maybe for a long time. But at the same time, I just couldn't stay quiet about this anymore. This is probably the first and the last time I'm going to talk about this publicly. Like I said, I do not want my page to be about this. But yeah, just wanted to say my piece and stand up for all of us who are being absolutely trashed by Book Talk right now. They might be louder, but we are the majority. We won. So, Alexa, play YMCA.
So many people think America was better when Donald Trump was president. I want to talk about why. I think we need to have this conversation because on the surface, I understand their argument. I really do. To them, they look at it and they say, look, food was cheaper, gas was cheaper, rent was cheaper, immigration was under control, there were no wars in the world. Why wouldn't I vote for Trump? That is the argument that so many people who are voting for Trump are making. And I think we need to have an honest, unbiased discussion about how much of that can be attributed to Donald Trump and how much of it can't. We're going to cover cost of living, gas prices, immigration, and wars. And we're going to take an honest look at how much credit Trump really deserves for the circumstances that he had during his presidency. Okay, we're going to start with the economy and cost of living. And I think it's extremely important up front that we establish that Donald Trump was inheriting a thriving economy from Barack Obama. And by almost every single metric available, he did absolutely nothing to accelerate the growth that he inherited from Barack Obama. And there's really no place where you can point to where Trump's effect on the economy is clear. And I'm going to walk through every single measurable thing I possibly can to show you that. I'm going to be fair to Trump and start in the one place where he did best compared to Obama. Obama's wage growth was kind of flat throughout his presidency. It started to kind of get better at the end, and that continued through Trump's presidency and had a minor amount of acceleration. Looking at unemployment under Obama in the shaded area, it was dropping, and that drop continued on the exact same trajectory all throughout Trump's presidency. The same goes for black unemployment rate. I bring that up strictly because Trump says it all the time that he was great for black unemployment. He just inherited what Obama was already doing. The stock market was seeing very stable growth under Obama, and Trump just continued that same growth trajectory. Home prices were rising under Obama and continued that same rise under Trump. Consumer confidence, same trajectory under Obama to Trump until the pandemic made it plummet, which is not Trump's fault. GDP growth, stable under Obama, stable under Trump. Trade deficit, stable, stable. Subtly higher inflation under Trump than Obama, but 1.4, 1.9, it's all good. Inflation in food prices was under 3% for the whole 12 years of these two guys' terms. The best year was Obama's last year, but in the end, they both had pretty stable food price inflation. And when it comes to rent price inflation, Trump actually did see some acceleration above 3.5%, but in the end, it's not that big a difference between Obama and Trump. They both saw some rental inflation. Also, I want to jump out of this comparison between Trump and Obama for a second and just talk about inflation, because this is a chart of global inflation for all major G7 countries. And this is what happened to everybody. Every single country went through inflation like we did, and we all recovered from it like we recover from it now. To blame Joe Biden for inflation and give Trump credit for not having it is just silly. It's not how it works. So after looking at all this economic data and cost of living data, it's abundantly clear that Trump's policies and him being president didn't change the course of the American economy whatsoever. To be fair to Trump, he didn't tank the economy either, but let's put it this way. Obama built the house, Trump just lived in it. Let's go into our next section, which is gas prices. And gas prices are so multifactorial. It's not just something where the president comes in and goes, it's $3 now. Like, it doesn't work that way. There's 1,000 different things affecting the market, and very, very few of them the president has an impact on. Similar to what we did in the last section, here is Obama's era, and here is Trump's. This is the end of Obama's era here, and here's where Trump went. You could see it's extraordinarily stable. This low, that's the pandemic. You know why gas prices were low in the pandemic? Because the demand for gas was extraordinarily low. One of the most common things you'll hear from Trump supporters is that Trump ramped up U.S. oil production, and that is true. Trump did ramp up U.S. oil production. You see it right there. But the argument that that is what affected gas prices is obviously incorrect, given that Biden has an all-time high. You see that very right end there. That's 2024. Biden is producing more oil than Trump ever did, and gas prices are higher under Biden. It's because gas prices are multifactorial. It's not just about how much domestic oil we produce. Also, right at the end of Obama's presidency is right before that big blip in production. That's where Trump was. If you remember, gas prices were extraordinarily stable between the last 2 years of Obama's presidency and Trump's 4 years. Pretty much exactly the same, despite the major increase in oil production domestically. I will give Trump credit on this is how he dealt with OPEC, because OPEC is essentially the organization that decides how much gas is going to cost. That's really what it comes down to. They're the ones who determine the market. They're the ones who determine production. They're the ones who determine how all this is really going to go. And Trump did put a lot of pressure on them all the time to try to keep prices where he wanted them. Now, there's no clear evidence that his pressure is what made OPEC change their mind about certain things, but the fact that he was attempting to do that was the right move, so I'll give Trump credit there. In the end, between domestic oil production and pressure on OPEC, he maybe had a small effect on the cost of gas, when in reality, gas costs are based on supply and demand, and that's why you saw the lowest gas prices you've seen in a long time under Trump during the pandemic, because nobody was going anywhere, and gas was just not something people had a big demand for. Next is immigration, and Trump unquestionably was better with illegal crossings than Biden was. Biden has done a poor job at the border, and yes, crossings are much further down now compared to what we're seeing here, but Trump did do a pretty good job. Immigration and your perspective on it really is something where it's about what you personally believe about how we want to treat people who aren't from this country. Trump treated them terribly and gave them no incentive to come here. He had travel bans on people from Muslim countries. It was not a great situation if you believe that America should be welcoming people in. But if you don't, Trump is definitely your guy with immigration. There's no question that he is a close the border, get him the fuck out of here kind of guy. The last thing we're going to talk about is the fact that people will say there were no wars when Trump was president, which is true. But the part I object to is the logic behind the fact that Putin never would have invaded Ukraine if Trump were president, because you hear that all the time. The truth is, Trump is a nationalist, which means he has no interest in getting involved in conflicts abroad. So Putin actually would have been better positioned with Trump as president, because Trump likely would have just said, fuck it, do what you want, I don't care, I'm not going to intervene. And when it comes to Hamas and Gaza and Israel, you have to remember this situation stemmed from a heinous terrorist attack that was committed by Hamas on Israel. Israel's responded with an expected but horrible, disproportionate response. And this is the set of circumstances. It's nothing that Trump or Biden or anybody would have affected. Israel was going to respond this way no matter who was president. That is just the way Israel functions. So when it comes down to this "there were no wars" thing, it's just circumstance. So in the end, context is the most important thing. Circumstance is the most important thing. Think of it this way. Donald Trump inherited a very stable ship on calm waters. He had a great growing economy and a stable world, and he's just going along until he crashes into the pandemic. And when he crashes into the pandemic, he completely unravels. His leadership was horrendous, and everybody was dying for change, and that's why he got decimated by a 77-year-old man in the 2020 election, because nobody trusted him. And now you're saying, okay, we have a really tough set of circumstances again. Let's give the ship back to Trump. Why? Trump has not proven in any way, shape, or form that he can handle crisis. He's only handling calm. Joe Biden did a good job stabilizing everything else in an otherwise unstable world. He's handled some of the worst circumstances you could possibly imagine, between a war in Russia and Ukraine that destroyed our oil production in the whole world, and then a migrant caravan 10 times the size anything Trump ever saw arriving at our front door, and the worst economic and health circumstances in 100 years. It was a nightmare. The fact that you feel terrible today compared to 5 years ago, we all do. But voting for Trump to restore 5 years ago is not going to happen, because the circumstances are never going to go back to the way they were.
Well, is anybody shocked at all that Trump fired the labor data statistics chief? And now he's released his new numbers, and surprise, Americans' income is 10 times higher. Wow, 10 times higher. Can you believe that? I bet you guys are just all rolling in the fucking dough right now, aren't you? 10 times higher. Man, the alleged president, Donald Trump, is doing such a great job. I mean, my God, think about it. He's only been in office almost 7 months, and now Americans are 10 times richer underneath this president. The sacred keeper of the files. Another distraction I see. But yet, this doesn't come as a fucking surprise to anybody. We all knew when he fucking didn't like the numbers and he started fucking firing people that he was going to install somebody who would tell him exactly what he wanted to hear. So they went in their little office and they drew up some new graphs. And, oh, look, Mr. President, Americans are 10 times richer under you. And you know what? His dumb ass is just like, oh, yeah, let's run with that. Come on, 10 times richer? If any of you MAGA feel like you're 10 times richer in the last 7 months than you were last year, there's a serious problem there. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant. Can't wait to see the unemployment numbers. 0%.
Anyways, welcome back again to the clip, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy every single part that I actually have to show to you guys. And what do I have to say? I have to say that if you check from the point of view of what they're actually saying, I'm not going to totally agree that he is bad. Neither am I going to totally agree that he is good. But the main concern I have is the fact that the people that are really enjoying every single thing is the people from the right, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I also love the fact that this is actually a wake-up call to a lot of citizens, because let's just flash back a little bit where we have some people going to the point of giving birth to 6 children, 7 children, 8 children, 10 children, just because they want to be on food stamps, just because they want to relax and not do anything. They want people to actually go and do the thing, pay taxes, and then they get to take credit, take salary from food stamp, any government donation, because they have a lot of children. At least if we check right now, a lot of things are being curtailed about it. We recently do not even see a lot of videos trending as to, oh, I have 7 babies with 7 daddies. I have 10 babies with 5 daddies. I have this, I have that. The only thing we've been hearing recently right now is, he cut my food stamps. He cut my food stamps. He cut my... And we are happy because you voted for it. You voted for it. He said it. He never lied. He said that was what he was going to do. He said he was going to bring tariffs, remove illegal immigrants, close borders, and so on and so forth. And you were hailing, and you didn't know that you need to work hard. You should know that since you were hailing, you are supposed to be working hard, that at the end of the day, you need to keep living life. So a lot of those things have literally been reduced online because right now they are going their own ways to like find jobs. And that is why when it comes to the awakening of a thing that some of the clips I actually said, I totally accept and agree that with them on that. Do you get? Now, another thing again that I know about all of this regime is the fact that Trump never lied. Everything he said was what he was doing. And if Americans are getting a wake-up call, I think when the next president actually takes over and make a little bit of things affordable for a lot of them are going to appreciate it and know how to utilize that opportunity in their life. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And another thing again I see about this particular video of this Trump of a thing of black people being saying that, oh, he did a very great job, is probably maybe the illegal immigrants that a lot of them actually want Trump to actually flush out of the system. But now we can see that farmers are crying. They are wailing. Nobody to pick berries, nobody to pick tomatoes, and so on and so forth. A lot of things are just behind the scene that at the end of the day, I can't just really talk for talking's sake because of, you know, the platform will always upload videos with. We have to be like very, very conscious minded, right? But anyways, let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. Do you think that Trump is actually the best president, the best candidate that Americans need right now? Do you think the awakening he's doing is actually good enough? Do you think that if the next president is actually coming to take charge, every other thing will actually go down well? I don't know. Just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. If you haven't followed me, what are you waiting for? Follow if you're watching from maybe any of my social media platforms. And guys, with no further ado, let's say I'm going to say bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches used in today's episode. And this is just for educational purposes. I stand a chance to be corrected. So feel free to correct me in the comment section. And yes, guys, with that being said, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one. And I love you guys. Mwah.